So this is going to wrap up the final season for Peaky Blinders, and I thought it was incredible. It just wraps up Tommy's arc absolutely beautifully. How's it going, everyone? I'm Keegs, and today we're going to be talking about the final season, Season 6 of Peaky Blinders. Spoiler warning for Season 6. Now that Tommy's died in much the same way Alfie did, his life is just one rolling tragedy after the next. Polly's loss was deeply missed, so rest in peace, Helen McCrory. And I kind of wonder how much of the story was actually changed because she wasn't in this season. Michael stating his vendetta for Tommy and how he's going to get revenge for Polly's death because he believes that Tommy is basically responsible for the entirety of everything bad that's ever happened to him. So I really think he was still going to betray Tommy anyway, but I just wonder how much different it would have been had Polly still been there, because I just felt like that was a pretty big thing to hinge the whole show on. Right after the funeral, though, there's a 2-year time jump, and there's a very endgame feel to everything that's going on, and it really feels like when Tommy's going to meet Michael in that bar that someone isn't walking away from that. Everything about it screams, this is the place where people go to just die. And it's almost poetic how it ends up in the same spot that it started in the season at the pub. And I almost didn't think that Tommy was going to be able to go through with killing Michael because of his connection to Polly, but as soon as he said, "and she'll visit me no more," the finality in his voice, I mean, it sounded like a dead man talking, so he was not going back after saying something like that. Honestly, though, I wanted Tommy to kill the doctor at the end because I felt like it was a weird move to let him live. Because if you're trying to live as a dead man where nobody really knows that you're still alive, then letting that guy know that you're still alive is kind of tough since he's a fascist and he's probably going to tell the other fascists that you're alive and you knew it was a scam, so wouldn't they be hunting you now? I would think, but I don't know. Maybe they think you went back to your little carriage and burned yourself, but I don't know. It just seems like it'd be pretty easy to piece together that Tommy was still alive. That was also one hell of a play by his enemies to convince him that he was dying like that, though he was definitely having very real seizures at one point, so he should probably get that checked out because I'm no doctor, but to me that definitely does not look like a good sign. Arthur is in a horrible place throughout pretty much the entirety of this season, but luckily Linda comes back. And to be completely honest with you, I did not even know that she was still alive. When I was remembering the past seasons, I thought she died when Polly shot her, but she did not. I guess she is back, and that's good for Arthur. I think he needs to get in much better headspace, which he definitely could do with the dissolution of the Peaky Blinders if that were to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Peaky Blinders, though, because Arthur is kind of getting out of the game here, I think, with Linda. She'll never let him take over that gang. Ada wants nothing to do with the gang. And Finn had some crazy betrayal and got expelled from the Peaky Blinders in this season. So, I don't know. Were they saying that Tommy's new son, Duke, is going to be the one to run things from here on out? He doesn't really seem like he would know exactly how everything works, having only been there for probably a couple months. Speaking of that entire betrayal with Finn, though, I didn't really think it made any sense and kind of came out of nowhere, it felt like. And they kind of shoehorned in Duke almost. Don't get me wrong, I liked Duke and I thought he was good, but I feel like a better plot, or at least a more consistent one, would have just had Tommy train Finn up a little bit better to take over things when he's gone and had an arc of developing Finn instead of having this weird transition of power between your brother and your estranged son and, shoehorning in some weird scenario where you think that Finn is no longer fit to be a Peaky Blinder. I get that even from the very start of the series, they show that Finn never really fit in because he didn't go off to war with the rest of them, and he was just kind of riding the coattails of wealth, and he didn't really understand what it meant to be part of their gang and why they were doing this to better everybody else, and they just thought he was a little bit spoiled and didn't get raised in the harsh environment that they did. But again, to me, it still felt a little bizarre that they had him do a whole betrayal thing. Ada was fantastic in this season. I think with Polygon, she really had to step up, but I think she crushed it. I would probably watch a spinoff just with Ada and seeing what she's doing, because I feel like she's just as clever and intelligent as Tommy, but her ambitions may be a little bit less than Tommy's ambitions, but I still think that she could make a really interesting character to watch in a spinoff series. I think the biggest shock for a lot of people was that Tommy's daughter Ruby died, which definitely shocked me. I thought for sure that they were going to save her somehow, but that's really not Tommy's life. Pretty much anybody that ever gets close to him dies. So I knew he was going to go off the rails when that happened, and that he kind of did. And it almost felt like after she died that he really didn't have anything to live for. Kind of ironic saying that because I know he's got another son in Charles, but honestly, kind of get the impression that he doesn't even like Charles. I mean, I think he likes him in the fact that he's his son, but also I think Charles reminds him a lot of Grace, and I just think it hurts him to look at Charles every time, and he doesn't want that reminder of Grace, because I do think that was probably the only person that he ever actually loved. I think Lizzie was someone he deeply cared for and didn't want to see her hurt, but I don't think he actually truly ever loved her. And this season, just like the last one, Tommy didn't actually ever end up taking down the big bad evil guy. I mean, I know he killed Michael and he rooted out Finn, but really the evil people in this show at the moment are the fascists. So I felt like there's definitely still some more work for them to do right now, and he's kind of got to get on that a bit. But I know there's a movie supposed to be happening, and probably a spin-off too, so I'm hoping they wrap it up in one of those two things, because I definitely feel like those are kind of the big players that need to be taken out at some point, and you always got to have the Peaky Blinders end up on top. I also have no idea why the Anna Taylor-Joy character they showed cheating with the fascist dude. It seemed almost entirely unnecessary to the plot. You didn't really need to give me another reason not to like her. I mean, I know Tommy used it for a little bit of blackmail, but there's 100 other ways that could have gone down in a much more concise. I mean, obviously they were just trying to show that she's kind of a crappy person too, so I guess cool. Tom Hardy is outstanding as Alfie, and I was really glad to see him back and kind of restored to his former glory by the end of it. But he's just such a fun character, and honestly, I would watch a spinoff with him too. I'm really excited for the movie that's going to come out, and whatever the spinoff's going to be, they've probably announced it, and I just haven't looked up as to what it's going to be about, but I will find out soon enough. I'm Keeks, and let me know, what did you think about Peaky Blinders Season 6, the series finale, down below in the comments.